Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Cloxon. Peace to the universal family. Today's video is going to be about the art of patience. Okay, I've been meaning to make this video for a long time, and I think right now in my life is the perfect moment to make it, particularly because it's something I'm lacking right now in a heavy amount of. And anytime that happens, anytime there's like a huge imbalance in my life, I gotta kind of find a way to correct it. So right now, patience is just constantly on my mind. Something I'm trying to implement, or totally I am implementing. So I felt like I wanted to share that with y'all. So I'm taking it slow, being patient, and I'm making this video to break down the aspect of patience, show y'all the definition as we usually do, the definition of the word, the power it has, the pros and the cons, and then go into the final conclusion of the word patience, all right? And the art of it, because it's a huge thing. I'm sure all y'all heard, patience is a virtue and all these great things. So we're about to go into it. So let's get it.
A few moments later.
Before we start today's video, I'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsors, the Cloxon Podcast. On this podcast, they talk about entertainment, business, spirituality, and more. So make sure you go check them out. They drop new episodes every week on Spotify. So tap in. All right, so let's start from the top. Patience. What is the definition of patience? All right. Patience. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. All right, that is the definition of patience. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, some not going on time that you wanted to be, trouble. That could be a million different things, so many troubling things in people's lives, and suffering, You gotta be able to tolerate the suffering without getting angry or upset. Basically being patient with yourself and the actual situation. Knowing that it'll work itself out. That is just a whole nother level of patience that most people don't have, and is extremely hard to acquire because your mind is always thinking immediately, oh my God, it's all this stuff going on. So having patience in these areas is extremely key. And that's just the definition of it, all right? So after the definition, I want to go into areas of focus. This is kind of tied to the cons, but I want to go into detailed areas of focus of where patience actually lies. So we're going to go from the top. Patience is a very powerful aspect when it comes to self. And what I wanted to break down with this one was self, right? So personal, you, right? Patience goes hand in hand with all aspects of self when it comes to the problems you have, the hardships, the discipline you want to acquire that you probably don't have, the commitment that you want to have, and just your overall destiny. Your destiny that you have for yourself that you want to have, and you don't quite know if you're gonna reach it yet or when you're gonna reach it. You gotta have patience because, especially if you believe in your dream and you really can see and you have that vision, you gotta have the patience to actually fulfill that. You know what I'm saying? And that sounds weird because patience to fulfill it. What do you mean? I'm going through this right now. Actually, like I know exactly where I need to be, and I kind of want to just be there right now, but I'm not. So I'm like, what's going on? But I'm realizing, wait a minute, I have to have patience to get there, because there's small pieces that I need to have in place to actually fulfill the destiny that I want for myself, but I haven't actually done those things, experienced those things yet. So I have to go through the motions and go through the process and establish the foundation to really reach where I need to go. And that entire process takes a huge level of patience. So that's where that goes into. Patience goes into self when it comes to problems you have that you need to get over, hardships, all types of adversity in your life. You need patience to really be like, you know what? Every aspect of your life is a separate individual process that it has to go through. If you're arguing with somebody, that is a process that starts and there's a middle phase, and there's an end phase to it. And that was basically the next one I was going to talk about was after self problems was relationship problems, whether it's your family, friends, lovers, or whatever. There's an individual process with each aspect of that you have to have patience for. You can't just rush through the process, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to hurry up and get to the end and keep it moving. It don't work like that, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to other people. You can kind of do that with yourself a little bit because you can kind of control how you think. Sometimes you can kind of get over something quick if you know what you're doing, but I wouldn't recommend that for certain things because some things you need to be patient with yourself with, especially serious things. You don't want to rush that because it'll end up coming back to you later and you back at square one. But especially when it comes to other people, you need to have patience with them when it comes to arguments or any type of really conflict. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have patience. So that goes for that. Next one was career. You know what you do for a living. Gotta have patience with that. You're not gonna make $1 million on the first day. You know, you're not gonna complete all your goals that you have on your sheet of paper immediately as soon as you start. You gotta have patience, and I'm learning that right now. Like, I want this, and that right now so I can start, and it's like, no, that's not. It's like the universe is slapping me in the face. Like, that's not how it works. One thing at a time. Complete that, then you get this. So I'm learning. I'm forced to learn patience the hard way because I keep trying to skip steps, and I want y'all to know, don't do that. Okay. Do the process, have the patience to actually go through each motion of your career to reach that goal that you want to reach. All right, it might take a year, it might take 5 years, but if you know the plan, just do it. All right, and then this goes for patience. When it comes to relationships, I wanted to go into basically this goes for the patience you need with the person. You know, if you're with someone, you need patience between yourself to give yourself time to heal or react to something, and you also need to give them patience separately, you know, away from you, so they can do the same thing. You know, it's really important in a relationship to be able to realize, okay, we're angry with each other or anything, you know, we're not really agreeing on a subject, so I'm gonna give myself a little patience to kind of figure it out and find a new perspective. You know, don't always assume, oh, I already said this, so it means that no. You know, you might change up later. Give yourself patience to actually think about these things when you're not next to the person and really cultivate that idea. Same for them. Give them, if they say you say something, they don't disagree with it, relax. You know, give them time to think it off. You know, just you gotta have patience within the relationship between you and that person, and as a collective, y'all together to patiently figure things out and go through the process. So that's huge with any type of relationship, whether it's friends, family, lovers, whatever. All right. So apply patience to those aspects. Um, Guess we can go into the pros now. I know this video is kind of fast. I should be having patience with the video, but my mind is kind of putting things together now. So we're gonna go to the next phase. Pros of patience, which require this. You are able to cultivate enduring relationships, and this is basically what I was just talking about. If you have patience, you're able to have successful relationships because you are willing to wait on some things. You know, certain things you just need to be able to wait on to, like I said, let the process fully fulfill itself. As you don't want to start something and then it be in this middle phase, and then you try to close it out and it's not ready to close out. That's gonna start more problems than what it started with. You know what I'm saying? So you acquire patience, you're able to cultivate and just have some of the best relationships possible with people. You know, and that's something that I do think that I'm getting better at, is having patience within relationships that I'm in, whether it's friends, family, whatever. Right? I think I'm getting better on that one slowly. All right. Another pro is you think long term. You know, if you know that everything has a process to it, you think in the long term when you do something. So you're like, okay, you know what? I am in the beginning of this process, so now I can kind of project my thoughts into the future and see, okay, after this process has started, I might start seeing future results of these things. So let me set myself up for the future, because I'm going to go through this process and have patience and slowly see things roll out within myself and anything else. So you start thinking long term, which is great. It's good to think long term for things, especially when you know they have a process. So you start thinking long term. You start finding inner peace with yourself. That's a huge thing, you know. Everybody wants peace, but they don't really know how to get it. If you know things are a part of a process, and you just have to have patience, and you know you're not gonna get to Z if you're at A right now, you can actually be at peace with yourself because you know the process is working, and it's some turning. You know what I'm saying? And so it gives you a whole other sense of peace, personally, when you have just patience with the process. I mean, the process. I just mean any aspect of your life that has started and you can see kind of where it's going, and it's not where you want it to be at the moment. That clearly means it's in a process, a phase of up, down, up, down, up, down. So if you can be at peace with knowing the process, you might have to avoid certain people or certain things if you don't want to be around it when the process is happening. But if you can recognize and identify the process, you can be at peace with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge thing. And you just learn to be more um, kind to yourself and other people. When you see somebody who might be angry, that you can have patience with yourself and that person to not really speak over them and talk over them and all this other kind of crazy rude stuff. And you can be like, you know what? This person's going through a phase right now, and they're going through a process. So I don't have to always, say this and do that to prove anything. I can just be a patient person, and you end up coming off as the most kind, peaceful person ever. I've had people tell me it's like wild clocks, and in a conversation, you're so patient. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even notice it, but it was something I was learning subconsciously. Like, you know what? Everybody's going through their own thing. So when I talk to somebody, I can kind of tell where they're at in that moment based off of how they say things to me. And it's not to be judgmental or anything. It's like, you know what? I need to be patient with this person. I don't need to be talking over this person. I don't need to be saying this or saying that, because that person is going through that particular thing at that particular moment. So it's like, you know what? I don't need to speak sometimes. So that's just taught me so many different things. I think y'all should learn the same technique of just being kind with other people, even if they're not necessarily kind to you. And that's a crazy thing to say, obviously, because everybody's like, oh, if they're not kind to me, I shouldn't be talking to them. But this is a very advanced technique that I would say, technique, but a very advanced thing to acquire if you're just talking in a group or in general. You need to have patience with yourself and the person you're talking to, especially if you're teaching them. But that's a different topic. But just talking in general, you should have patience. You know what I'm saying? And that goes a long way. So yeah, those are basically some of the most basic cons. Basic pros. Sorry. And now we're going to go into the cons. Okay, so cons of patience is waiting too long and not listening to your wisdom and intuitive instincts. So, for example, me, I'll think about a great grand idea and then I'll take 2 years to implement it. That is bad. You don't want to have too much patience on everything, because I have learned that, okay, this is a process that I got to do. And I'll map out the whole process in my head and never get started because of me not having this one thing. And so that is something you don't want to do when it comes to patience. Don't take too long to do something because you end up never starting the process. Patience is all about being patient with yourself to go through the process. But if you are applying patience to the starting process of, okay, I'm going to be patient in starting and just wait, no, that's bad. You don't want to have too much patience on something and never start a process or never continue. Like if you start and then you're in the middle and then you never reach the end, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? This goes for relationships and everything. If you're in a process, have the patience to actually go through with it and not have too much patience to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop here, like, and just continue this 5 years later. No, that's too much patience, and that's a con. Okay, so it's less levels to it. You don't want to have too much or too little. So that's basically it. I don't want to make this video too long, but this was the conclusion basically of the art of patience. Be patient with yourself and learn yourself. Then you'll know when to be patient and when not to be patient for certain aspects of your life, and listen to your intuitive instincts. And then you'll know when to, act on an idea or when not to. You gotta learn that balance of yourself. Be patient with yourself to learn yourself and learn how you react to things. And basically, you know, knowledge of self. Once you can learn knowledge of self, a lot of things come easier to you. But I'll make a separate video on that. Okay, the art of that. But this was the art of patience. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all like it. Like the video, share it with your friends. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube. And yeah, this was the art of patience. Thank y'all for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace.